Hello, it's Stephen Lester at Lavish HiFi again, here talking to you about video projectors. Why video projectors? Why does a guy who has spent his entire career doing everything that he can to connect people with their music, why on earth are we talking about video? It's simple. With a two-channel system, when you get all of the details right, the listener and the performer are closer connected, and it is a pure, intimate, solo experience. How you feel when you listen to music, when you're connected that closely to your favorite music, is completely unique. It's undescribable, it's unshareable, and it's yours. So how do you share your love of great music? Well, I discovered a couple of decades ago that when I dimmed the lights in a room where there was a great sound system and dropped a screen, a sense of event occurs. And the moment an artist comes on and is playing music, everyone in the room feels connected to that artist and starts to appreciate the music that they're making. And that's where it started. It started by having an event which set the tone and expectation for listeners to be receptive to something new, something different. So we'll start with some basics. With a great sound system, the last thing you want to put between your speakers is a highly reflective flat surface. Acoustically, this is exactly the wrong thing. So if you've dialed your space in, you probably don't want a TV there. Maybe you have that TV there because you have to or because it's secondary. But having the option of an electric roll-up screen, which is a softer material, which yes, does do some acoustic damage, but it retracts so that when you're in a purist listening two-channel mode, it's not doing that damage at all. So your room can do double duty. Additionally, as I mentioned before, the scale of the image has a huge impact, we know physiologically, to how we experience the content on it. And also the fact that it's not a light bulb shining at you, it is a gentler, reflective image which you can take in the same way you're taking in the music. This adds up to a whole experience which is closer to the sense of the content and the emotion therein than a small, bright, highly intensive light bulb TV and big organic sound. So therein is the key difference. If you're thinking of a projector as a large TV, and in some cases that would be relevant if you were a sports bar or trying to recreate basically a large TV for sports or other shared events of that nature, then you may in fact want your projector to produce an image with the same character as that of a TV. And that's something that we can do, but it is not my primary focus, and it is not the focus of this conversation. The focus of this conversation is to use a projector basically to recreate the filmed experience when we're watching movies. Again, a darkened room, a sense of event, a scaled image which fills the viewer's field of view with the image that was anticipated by the creator of that art, and the enhancement of any music event. So if you collect concerts or you see concerts or movie documentaries about musicians where there are clips of music being made, that is a very, very, very powerful experience when you have your sound system dialed in as well as you can and the projected image scaled properly to make sense of the whole experience. Having a projector will lead to some surprises, and in some observations I've made over the years where a projector was purchased for the person buying it to watch movies on their own, and quickly discovering that now they could have a movie night or a concert night or a theme night or some other shared experience with friends and relatives. This has been rather huge. It changes the sense of expectation when you just turn the TV on and say, now we're going to watch something, to turn the TV off, drop the lights, drop the screen, and now there's a sense of expectation that something new is going to happen. Setting the tone for the experience that you're about to have is extremely important. Having the room be quiet, with distractions minimized, and taking a moment before you start to listen to music will change how you feel when you're listening to the music. Translating that to a group of folks is what I'm talking about. By saying to them, by actions, that something special is going to happen, the lights have gone down, other things have been turned off. Everyone in the room is now ready for this to happen, and the sense of expectation is there and the reception is there, which leads to being able to experience the content, this great movie, that you hadn't expected. So when we look at putting a projection system into a family room, which is the best place to have it, frankly, dedicated rooms are wonderful, but often we don't have a space for them, or it's added costs, or it's a room we don't go into very often. If there's a room in the house where your life already exists, and that's where the sound system is, and that's basically where the people are, that's usually the most comfortable room in the house, and it's the most natural place to have a video projection screen. When you visit, we can drill much deeper into all of the elements that go into a terrific image from a projector. Screens make a difference, absolutely. Projectors make a difference. The content that you play on them makes a difference. There are different types of projectors. There are different light sources for projectors, and each one of those contributes in its own way to the experience of watching an image. And some of these technologies lend themselves more towards looking like a big TV, and others lend themselves to being able to expose all of the subtle details that went into making the film, whether it's film stock and filters and different frame rates, all of the things that the cinematographers for the last 100 years have been using. If we want to experience that the way that was originally created, then I need a high fidelity video projection system, a screen which does not damage that image, and hopefully the best possible copy of that in that movie that I can get, not a compressed version, but hopefully a well-mastered one. It really is going to take a conversation between us as individuals to determine what it is that really turns you on as an individual about that content when we're talking about film content. And a high fidelity projector that can deal with film will also deal very well with the challenges of filmed music experiences, because very often those have a lot of issues with lighting and color and fast cuts and so on and so forth, things that we don't typically have to cope with when reproducing a live basketball or football game. Those don't have the same set of problems, nor do first-run Hollywood blockbuster movies where a huge amount of what is on the screen is generated with CGI and other high-impact effects, which would mask the subtleties that a high-fidelity projector would have to offer. But we'll always circle back to music first, high fidelity first, an experience which is holistic in its approach first. That's where it will start. I can't tell you the number of times that I have put a filmed performance up on a projector in some kind of a context, either in an end user's house or at an event, only to hear countless people walk by and say, listen to that. They saw the image, and the response was to listen to that guy play the piano, listen to her sing, listen to that guitar, over and over and over. That has been the response. And that's really the goal. The goal is to stop the viewer and draw them in and help them feel the content the way the creator of that content intended it. And I can't express any better than that the need to come and visit and spend a little bit of time one-on-one here in the showroom. Thank you. So projectors and TVs and home theaters are all really different conversations. If we just want to talk about improving the experience that you're already having with a television by getting a better one, then we can talk about the difference between resolution and picture quality, because the two are not the same thing. We can talk about video processing. We can talk about OLED versus LCD, backlighting, and all those types of things. But all of those topics remain the same because we're talking about improving an experience, not changing an experience. When I talk about projectors, I'm talking about a fundamental difference in how we experience the content. And the best illustration that I can possibly think of is that when we're talking about television sets, we're talking about pictures on the other side of a shiny piece of plastic. We're talking about the image quality that's happening in a room that we're looking through a window into or out of. When we talk about projectors, we're talking about bringing the experience of the content to you close, intimately, and in the same room that you're in. And that is a fundamental difference in how you experience the content, whether it's a concert, a studio shoot of some music, an interview of somebody famous, or a spectacular film. A good projector is an investment, and it costs a fair amount of money, and it's not certainly for everyone. It's appealing to people who care about sound because we don't have this reflective surface between our loudspeakers, and we don't have a television to stare at while we're listening to music. It's appealing to people that don't particularly like television because we don't have the center of focus of the room be the TV set, because the screen can roll up when we're not watching it. But who I think projectors appeal most to are people that have had the experience of going to a movie and being so moved by that film that as the film came to an end and the rest of the audience gets up and starts walking out of the room, they sat there. I know I've done that, and sat as the closing music played and the credits rolled to the very end. If you've had that type of experience with a movie, then you really need to come in and sit down and talk to me about a projector. Thank you.